Hey y'all, happy Monday. I hope that y'all are having a great day. Today I want to be talking about this book that I've been reading. It's called Salvaging My Identity, and it has really impacted me just so much. And I'm going to be sharing with you some of the things that I've learned from it and just what God has shown me through it. So basically, my best friend had read it and she was like, oh my goodness, Kesney, this is so good. You need to read it. And I was like, okay, I'll give it a try. And I never expected it to impact me so much. It really just makes you be so honest with yourself and with God about all the things that it's talking about. So I'm going to share with you guys just some of the things that it talked about today. From the very beginning, I was forced to be honest with myself and with God, and that is something that is very hard to do. I think sometimes we feel like God doesn't know exactly what's going on, and we try to hide what's going on in our own lives from ourselves because we feel like if we hide it from ourselves, then God won't know, but God already knows. And from the very beginning of this book, I was forced to be honest with myself about things in my life, and I was forced to be honest with God. And I learned that to get over things, to improve, and to be the person who you really should be, you have to be honest with yourself and with God. So the last chapter is definitely the one that impacted me the most. It was entitled Burnout. It focused on how sometimes we exhaust ourselves with trying to subconsciously get approval from God. We try to take on so many things to make ourselves feel better about ourselves, to try to find approval from God. As I was going through the chapter, I was like, man, this is so true. This is so something that I feel like so many people struggle with, including myself. And the last part of the chapter, really, it just hit me. And it said, we need to shift all of our time and excitement from doing those things to simply knowing God. And that stuck out to me so much, because how many times do we get so caught up in all of the other things of the world, trying to be this, trying to be that, trying to be this perfect picture, that we forget to just simply spend time trying to grow in our relationship with God and know who He truly is. And as I read this, I started to be honest with myself, and that the fact that sometimes I try to hide those cracks of the work in progress that I am. I felt God's love wash over me, because He says that we don't have to hide those cracks. He loves us whether we're cracked or we're polished. He loves us in all phases of our lives. And it made me realize that so often I try to put up this front with God. I try to act like I am this totally perfect thing in front of God because I feel like I have to, but we don't have to be perfect in front of God. We don't. He knows that we are not perfect. He knows that we sin. He knows what we struggle with. He knows that deepest, darkest thing inside of us. He knows, and He still loves us even though we are all of these things. And I think I just had so much clarity in that moment. All those things that I knew all these things. But I think in that moment, God was like, Kesney, you do not have to tell me, you do not have to act like you are this perfect thing, because I know that you're not, but I love you anyways. And I sent my Son to die for you, and that's how much I loved you. You can be honest with me, you can be real with me, and you can just know that I know who you are. I think we get into the habit of trying to be this perfect picture because we live in a world where everyone's just trying to be that next person on the magazine, or be that person who we see in the movies, and try to live these lives that aren't possible because we're not perfect. And I think that we can't comprehend that God loves us even when we're not perfect. So we try to put Him in this box that we can't understand. And we think that we have to be perfect when we speak to Him, but that is so far from the truth. We can't understand God because He is just so amazing that we can't comprehend it, and we can't put Him in this box, and we can't wrap our minds around how much He loves us, that He still cares for us even though we're not perfect. And y'all, from this study, I really learned that I can come to God at any point. I don't have to be perfect, I don't have to be polished. I can be in tears, I can be, no matter where I am, He will listen to me, and He loves me the same. Jesus' blood took away those sins. Jesus' blood took away me having to try to find approval. I don't have to try to find approval because Jesus died for me, and God sent Him to die for me because He loves me that much. He loves each of us that much. He did the same for you. So I hope that you've maybe related to something in this study. because I think sometimes we just need to be reminded. And I think God really did use this study to remind me that I can come to Him at all times, that I do not have to be perfect. And I knew that. And I think so many times we do know these things, but we just drift from it. And God has to remind us. And He really did remind me through this study that I can come to Him at all times, that I can let go of those insecurities and me feeling like I have to be this perfect person, and that I can truly just come to Him. So y'all, I just hope that y'all have a great week, and I hope that you know that you can come to God at all times, because He does love us no matter what. I love you guys so much, and I will see you next time.
My soul, oh my soul, worship His holy name. Sing like